Hiya VC, yeah, I'm back again. This is a video I wasn't planning to make. I wasn't planning to make another video so quickly after my Vinyl Watch 70, and if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. This evening I've been watching a couple of videos, and they were absolute riot. First off, I watched James Griffiths, James's hilarious video on records his parents objected to, and which in turn was a response to Sean Zloch's video on Verboten music records his parents objected him to listening to, or maybe even records that he thought his parents would object to, but they didn't actually object to it. Both videos absolutely brilliant. I would highly recommend you to go and check both of them out. James's story about his mum ironing and listening to while he was listening to the Jack by AC/DC, it just had me hooting with laughter. What was the one by Sean was the saga of Sean trying to get a copy and keep hold of it of I Want Your Sex by George Michael. Absolutely priceless, both of those videos. So it made me want to just come up with my own response to these videos, with records that well, not particularly that my parents objected to. When I was a kid, my mum was the main arbiter of moral standards in my household, and she was the one who sort of ruled the roost with things, whatever I could listen to or do or whatever. I mean, my dad would never have objected to any records that I brought into the house, basically because he wanted to listen to them himself. I mean, I know he nicked, borrowed my Mary Chain records and various other stuff. I don't think he ever ventured into the thrash stuff that I've got. I mean, I think Slayer would have just taken the top of his head off. But yeah, my dad didn't object to hardly anything, well, nothing. Whereas my mum had much more fixed ideas on what was wrong and what was objectionable, and why I would be listening to any of it. So I've chosen a few records that I know at least one person in my household had doubts about, if not outright objections to. So I thought I'd just share those with you. Probably not as funny as James and Sean's stories, but anyway, here we go. Number one. Right. Now, when I was a kid, we used to regularly sit down as a family and watch Top of the Pops. I remember it being on an awful lot. Apart from one era in about 1980, 81, where I don't know what happened, because I totally missed, was it 81 or 83? I don't know, but whenever New Year's Day by U2 came out, I completely missed that. I don't know why. So, and I was watching it all the way up to then, and then straight afterwards, and I don't know what happened there. But I remember back in 82, we were watching Top of the Pops, and a record by a certain artist came on, and the Top of the Pops dance. This artist would never have come on to Top of the Pops to publicise the record. Way above that. And they had the dancers writhing around. I think it was on some sort of climbing frame, I think. I'm a very hazy memory of what they were actually doing. But my mum just started talking to me and asking me, what do you think of this? And I thought, it's alright. You know, you're kind of always like reticent about sharing what you actually think with your parents, just in case you're going to get shouted down, I guess. But the record was this one. Now, the label's slightly obscured because I think I got this from a jumble sound probably about 83, 84 maybe. There was a sticker on it. Part of the label's been ripped off, but I'm never going to get rid of this. So this is, can you see that? Yeah, you can. So this is Cat People Putting Out the Fire by David Bowie. and this is the Marauder version of it that was released in '82 for the film Cat People. And my mum turned to me when this was on and she said, "Do you like this?" And she just seemed to go into this thing about Bowie being an absolute freak, and it's like freakish music and just horrible stuff. And even then I knew, well, I'd already listened to things like David Diamond Dogs because my dad had the tape. I'd already listened to that and other bits and pieces. Ashes to Ashes and Fashion I'd absolutely loved. But it was the first time my mum had actually turned to me and I realised that there were certain things she found really abhorrent, and David Bowie was one of them. Yeah, he was a freak, but that's precisely why I liked him. So yeah, this was the first time I realised, oh, maybe there's stuff that my parents don't like. Well, my mum doesn't like. And I don't know why this version wasn't put on the album, because it's far superior to the Let's Dance version. Maybe it was because this is it sounds so Marauder, and the Let's Dance album is so what's his face from Chic. Oh, what is up with my brain? Yet another memory lapse. I am getting old. Anyway, so yeah, there's the first one. Second one. Do I do this one? Yeah, do this one second. Right, the next record was a massive, massive hit in the UK. And massive, huge hit. And I really wanted a copy of it. I didn't have an awful lot of money for records at that point, and I'd only just started buying them myself. And I remember my sister really wanted to buy me a birthday present, because this record was number 1 on my 15th birthday. And she asked me what I wanted, and I told her what I wanted, and she went out and bought it with my mum. And I remember her just turning to me after she'd given it to me and said, "Is it alright if I gave you this record?" And I felt really worried about it. It's like, and the record was this one. No, there isn't anything particularly right with it, to be honest. I mean, this is one of the most rampant gay sex songs that has ever been released, let alone to got to number 1, and one of the dirtiest songs, even without the video, which never got shown anyway. Look at the cover. Look at it. Yeah, my sister was really quite worried about giving me this. But my mum didn't bat an eyelid. I just couldn't understand it at the time. And even more so now, considering I know now what she was like. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, relax. I just thought, what? My mum even went out and bought this with my sister, so I don't know what was going on. And she obviously didn't, I don't know, had she even heard it? It was everywhere, I don't know. We did watch it on Top of the Pops, I don't know. Anyway, or rather we didn't, because it was banned. Anyway, that's probably why I got away with this. So there we go, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax. So that's the one my sister was worried about. Right. Now, there was a band. Oh, good God, I've got to really clean this again. This is, oh, God. Yuck. Right. This band, Rolling Stones. Now, I pulled out my copy of Rolled Gold just to highlight this. Now, I always thought that the Stones were kind of like safe ground, really, because my dad was one of the biggest fans of the Stones. He absolutely loved them. When we had his funeral, we played 2 Stones tracks. Give Me Shelter and Come On. Come On was his favourite ever song. So I always associate the Stones with my dad. And I thought everything was fine with them. Until one day my mum turned round, I think they were on the TV or something, this lot are the biggest cult band in history, or the biggest cult band ever. And really bad impression of my mum, but got the tone quite right. And she didn't mean, of course, that they were like a sort of an underground band with a big following and, you know, not really mainstream. She didn't mean it like that. She meant like Jim Jones or the Moonies or something. They were going to escort you to the gates of hell to corrupt your soul. So, I mean, but she never stopped me listening to them. But I know she objected to the Stones. She hated the Stones. She hated Jagger and Richards and the rest of them. She loathed them with a passion. They weren't the clean-cut, wholesome, well, what she thought the Beatles were like. But, yeah, she did not like the Stones. Anyway, number 3, the Rolling Stones. Right, the fourth and final record I'm going to talk about here is one that she really didn't want me to get, and I think at the time this band came up, I was really intrigued by them already. I wanted to hear them. I wanted to really investigate what they were like, and we were watching a South Bank show. Now, people in the UK will know about the South Bank show. It used to be on every Sunday, and it was an arts program, and they used to sort of do, you know, modern artists or poets or, you know, various aspects of the art world. But one Sunday they had a program on about this lot, Velvet Underground, and of course they played a lot of the records. And when now then, hang on, which song was it? I'm sure, oh, it was, yeah. When Venus in Furs came on, my mum turned to me and said, "You are never buying this record. This is," well, she didn't go into a whole spiel, but it was, "You're never going to buy it." Oh God, it's filthy. And, I mean, Venus in Furs, I mean, shiny, shiny, shiny boots of leather, whiplash goes rather in the dark. You know the lyrics. I mean, it's a blinding song anyway. Later used in a bloody tyre advert. Yeah, right, okay. But this just made me want to go out and get this even more. So I think about a month later, I actually got out and brought it in, and she didn't have a bloody clue. She didn't know this was the Velvets. I mean, look, it's got a lovely banana on the cover. So, needless to say, I didn't actually play this when she was in the house very often. Just to avoid this. I mean, I was about 16, I guess, at the time. 16's probably about then. When would that be? 85, 86? Yeah, that's about right. I mean, of course, it's a classic record. But I probably wouldn't have listened to it as soon as I did if it hadn't been for my mum. So thanks, Mum. You got me into them even more. Right, okay, so there we go. A quick trawl through a few Verboten records. There's probably more that I could pick out. But I don't think my mum actually listened to an awful lot of what I listened to. To her, it was just this infernal racket that came out of my bedroom. So I don't think she knew what Rain in Blood was about, and I don't think, I mean, they were actually there when I bought my Master of Puppets, so I remember going to the record shop, and we were all out that day, and I went off to HMV in London and bought Master of Puppets. She didn't have a clue. It was just an awful racket, and as for if I bought Deicide in, you know, there you go. Anyway, I don't think that's done justice to James's video. You've got to check it out. And check out Sean's, because they're both marvellous, absolutely marvellous. So I've had a bit of a laugh just going through a few memories there. So thanks very much, VC. And I'll see you all again soon with another vinyl watch, because I'm still picking stuff up here and there. And I'm looking at the mounting pile of vinyl that I've got to talk about. With more editions today. So, see you soon. Cheers, VC. Bye.